Imagine this. You're knee-deep in your own backyard paradise, clipping vines under a flawless blue sky, when suddenly, wailing sirens rip through the air like a bad action movie climax. There, strutting front and center like she's starring in her own vigilante drama, is the neighborhood HOA boss lady, grinning ear to ear as if she's just busted a cartel kingpin, instead of a guy growing grapes. But oh, the twist that's coming? It's the kind of poetic justice that makes you spit out your coffee and hit replay, because this power-tripping Karen is about to learn she's been bossing around her own landlord. Let me set the scene for you, folks. I'm Alex Harlan, 32, a quiet type who's turned a dusty patch of California hillside into Harlan Heights Vineyard, a lush, sun-kissed haven of Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot rose that stretch like green waves toward the horizon. I inherited this land from my grandpa, who bought it back when this valley was nothing but wild scrub and dreams. 2 years of backbreaking work, permits up the wazoo, and now it's a certified organic gem, complete with eco-friendly drip irrigation and solar panels that hum softer than a library whisper. My Aunt Rita lives with me on the property. She's in her late 50s, sharp as a tack, with eyes that miss nothing and a wit that could slice through bureaucracy like a hot knife through butter. That fateful Saturday morning, she's sipping her black coffee on the porch, scanning the valley like a hawk, when she spots trouble brewing. "Alex!" she hollers, her voice laced with that mix of amusement and warning only family can pull off. Incoming storm cloud on 2 legs. Looks like she's got a briefcase full of grudges and a walk that says, "I'm about to ruin someone's weekend." And there she was, Vivian Croft, 58, president of the Whispering Pines HOA, striding up my gravel drive like she owned the place, which, spoiler alert, she most certainly did not. Vivian had that polished suburban armor, tailored pantsuit, pearls choking her neck, and hair sprayed into submission. But underneath, pure HOA venom, the kind that turns community standards into a weaponized phrase. She plants herself at the edge of my vines, arms crossed, lips pursed like she'd just sucked on a lemon. "Mr. Harlan," she declares, her voice booming with that fake polite authority that screams, "I've got a rulebook and I'm not afraid to use it. I'm Vivian Croft, HOA president. We've got reports of egregious violations here at Harlan Heights. Noise pollution, visual blight, and unauthorized commercial activity that's eroding our neighborhood's pristine character." I wipe the dirt from my hands, squinting at her in the sunlight. "Violations? Like what exactly?" "These are just grapes, ma'am. Not a factory." She flips open her briefcase with a dramatic snap, pulling out a sheaf of papers thicker than a phone book. "Excessive dust from your so-called farming operations. Unauthorized equipment storage, those pruning shears are a hazard. And don't get me started on the aesthetic disruption to our viewshed. Our covenants are clear. No activities that detract from the harmonious residential ambience." I bite back a laugh. Harmonious ambience? We're talking about a few vines on a hill, not a junkyard rave. But I nod, keeping cool. "Happy to show you my permits, Vivian. Everything's above board." That's when her eyes lock on the wooden sign at my gate. Harlan Heights Vineyard ST 2024. She freezes, staring like it's a ghost from her past. Her face twists. First confusion, then a flash of something sour, like bad wine. Harlan Heights. That name. It's ringing bells. Unpleasant ones. She mutters it under her breath, testing the syllables. I shrug. Just named it after the ridge up there. Family tradition. But her mask cracks for a second, and I see it. Raw, buried resentment. She shakes it off, snapping back to boss mode. "Irrelevant. You have 30 days to submit a remediation plan, or fines commence. We're talking thousands, Mr. Harlan. For the good of the community." She pivots on her heels and marches off, leaving me with a knot in my gut. What history was she hiding? Why did my vineyard's name hit her like a slap? I didn't panic. Instead, I dialed my family attorney, Marcus Hale, sharp suit, sharper mind, and a laugh that could disarm a bomb. "Marcus, got a HO, a harpy breathing down my neck. Thinks my grapes are a threat to civilization." I spill the details, including Vivian's weird fixation on the name. He goes silent, then bursts out cackling. Alex, buddy, you sitting down? Want me to draft a little love letter reminding them about boundaries? Literal and legal. His tone drips with glee. He knows the ace up my sleeve. See, I hadn't just inherited a vineyard. I'd inherited the whole damn valley floor, 2,500 acres, including the land under Whispering Pines, that cookie-cutter suburb nestled below. The houses? Owned by residents. The dirt? Leased from Harlan Holdings, my family trust. Vivian and her crew were my tenants, paying ground rent every quarter without a clue who the real boss was. Grandpa set it up that way decades ago. Quiet control, no drama. But now, drama was knocking. I wrestle with it. Drop the truth bomb now or let her escalate. The petty side whispers, let her bury herself. Make it epic. So I wait, observing like a chess master watching a novice overcommit. A week ticks by, tension building like storm clouds. Then Vivian returns, full entourage in tow. Like a bad parody of a SWAT team for suburbia. There's Harold Finch, the jittery accountant with glasses slipping down his nose. Edith Lang, retired librarian with a camera slung around her neck like a war correspondent. And some self-proclaimed compliance expert named Doug, lugging a toolkit that looks pilfered from Home Depot. They fan out across my property, measuring everything with absurd precision. Doug pokes a decibel meter at my irrigation pump, frowning dramatically. This hum. It's borderline assault on auditory peace. Edith snaps photos of my solar panels, muttering about unsightly reflections. Harold scribbles notes, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. Vivian orchestrates it all, clipboard in hand, barking orders. Document the road wear from those delivery trucks. That's communal degradation. I stand back, arms folded, fighting a smirk. My pump? Quieter than their Prius engines. The road wear? A gravel path on my land. But I let them play Inspector Gadget. After an hour of this farce, Vivian gathers them for the verdict. Mr. Harlan, your operations violate sections 4.2 through 7.9 of our covenants. Noise exceedances, visual pollutants, and unauthorized commerce. Fine. $4,500, payable in 10 days. Her voice rings with triumph, but her eyes dart nervously. I overhear Harold whispering to Edith. This seems overblown. Nothing here's excessive. Edith nods, fear flickering. But Vivian said if we don't back her, she'll audit our homes. My garden shed's not permitted. Can't afford the hassle. Boom. The reveal. Vivian wasn't leading. She was extorting, using HOA rules as a cudgel to keep her throne. Sign off on her crusade, or face her wrath on your own violations. It was a suburban mafia, wrapped in bylaws and fake smiles. Sure about that jurisdiction, Vivian? I ask mildly. This is private AG land. She snaps. Don't push it, Harlan. The community demands order. But I see the crack, desperation under the polish. I could have called Marcus then, ended the charade. But no, let her dig deeper. The hilarity of her impending faceplant? Too delicious. Patience pays, folks. Instead of lawyering up, I flip the script. I print flyers. Simple. Inviting. Open house at Harlan Heights. See what your HOA prez is ranting about. Wine tastings included. Bring skepticism. I drop them door to door in Whispering Pines, smiling at the confused faces. Come judge for yourselves. Turnout? Massive 28 families, more than half the hood. They arrive braced for chaos. Polluted ditches, roaring machinery, maybe a meth lab disguised as a winery. What do they find? Pristine rows, birds chirping. My Aunt Rita pouring samples of last year's vintage. Try the Merlot. Pairs great with truth, she quips. Faces soften as they wander. One guy, Mike Torres, who just added an unpermitted patio, pulls me aside. Vivian said this place was a blight. Threatened to fine my patio if I didn't sign her petition. But this? It's beautiful. Whispers spread. Vivian's dirt files on everyone. Wrong mailbox colors, overgrown lawns, all leveraged for loyalty. Harold approaches, red-faced. She called your solar setup a resource vampire. Lies. This is green genius. Edith chimes in. Apologies, Alex. She painted you as a rogue operator. You're legit. By sunset, they're swapping numbers, plotting a board recall. Vivian's empire? Crumbling from within. The moxie of it all, her using fear to herd sheep, only for the sheep to bite back. I sip my wine, watching the shift. Justice brewing, slow and sweet. Cornered animals lash out, right? 3 days post-open house. Vivian calls an emergency summit at the community center. Halt the Harlan menace? Protect our homes. She shows up armed with a slideshow straight out of Amateur Hour. Grainy photos of my vines labeled invasive blight, charts claiming my pumps steal groundwater, even a wild accusation of electromagnetic interference from my solar array. Fellow residents, she intones, voice quivering with faux outrage. This man is poisoning our serenity. Unauthorized chemicals leaching into our wells. The room murmurs, but the open house vets aren't buying. Harold stands first. Vivian, evidence? I toured his place, nothing toxic. Edith piles on. Your claims don't match facts. Why the misinformation? Vivian flails. You're compromised. Biased by his free wine. Chaos erupts, shouts, pointed fingers. She storms out, screeching. I'm calling the authorities. This ends now. Aunt Rita texts me later. Buckle up, kid. Fireworks tomorrow. I grin. The dunnage is set. Time for the boom. Monday dawns crisp. I'm testing soil pH when sirens blare. 2 squad cars. Lights flashing like a disco inferno. Out pile deputies Lisa Vargas and Sergeant Tom Riley. Flanked by Vivian, triumphant with her dossier. Officers, she belts. Arrest this squatter. He's monopolizing valley resources, violating every code. They nod politely, but Sergeant Riley eyes my tidy setup skeptically. Mr. Harlan, mind showing us around? I lead them to my office, laying out permits, ecocerts, the works. Then the kicker. The county plat map, red-stamped and irrefutable. Vargas scans it, eyes widening. Whoa, this isn't just your vineyard. I nod casually. 2,500 acres, officers. Boundary hugs the creek to the interstate. And whispering pines. Built on leased Harlan land. I'm their ground lord. Riley whistles. So Vivian's HOA empire is on your dirt. Yup, she's fining her own landlord. He radios dispatch. Unit 7 here. Need property verify. Complainants trying to police her lessor. Dispatch chuckles. Say again? Tenant versus owner. Vargas grins at me. How long you known she's your renter? From jump. Saw her name on leases. Wanted to see her overreach play out. We jeep up the ridge, valley below like a toy set. All this, I say, Harlan turf. Houses on top. Temporary guests. Riley laughs outright. She's been HOA queening on borrowed ground. Back down, Vivian waits, smug. Well, bust him. Vargas deadpants. Ms. Croft, jurisdictional snag. You're leasing from Mr. Harlan. No authority here. Her face drains. Impossible. We have titles. Riley, houses, yes. Land? Is lucky he's chill. The crowd gasps. Phones light up. No violations found. As cops peel out, laughing, Vivian crumbles. I didn't know. Harold apologizes. We were pawns. Sorry, Alex. That night, Marcus calls. 7 lease renewals already. Panic mode. I chuckle. Book 'em. Quiet tenants welcome. Folks, the irony? Vivian fought for control she never had, while I held the reins silently. Power's not in yelling. It's in timing. But was letting her implode vindictive or just smart? Drop your verdict below. Right move or too savage?